The holiday season is over. That being said, there's still dangers associated with this time of year, like dried out Christmas trees or unmaintained space heaters. Dried out Christmas trees are a major fire hazard during this time of year. Because they are like dry kindling, they burn fast and not only destroy your home, but lead to possible injury or even death. The Houston Fire Department encourages citizens to safely dispose of their tree. Residents can recycle their trees by dropping them off to one of the 17 free drop-off locations, recycling sites, throughout the city of Houston. A Christmas tree, a dried out Christmas tree, can be fully evolved in less than 30 seconds. Solid Waste will accept trees throughout the end of this week. Go to the Solid Waste website for a location near you. After this week, the City of Houston residents can place their trees curbside during their scheduled heavy trash pickup or tree waste day. We also like to remind citizens about space heater safety. Space heater safety, because of the low temperatures this year, are a major concern. An unmaintained space heater is a major fire safety issue. Space heaters, we ask that you use the electrical space heaters. If you can't get the electrical space heaters and you have a traditional space heater, we ask that you properly maintain the space heater. You make sure that it's burning with a blue flame. A red or kind of broken flame is suggesting that it's not properly, it doesn't have proper combustion, and there's a possible leak, a carbon monoxide leak in the heater. You want to make sure that the cord is maintenance and make sure it has no cracks in it, and that the clipping or the fitting at the end is a tight fit and there's no leak there for carbon monoxide purposes. What we'll do now is a demonstration of the space heaters with Mario Gallegos and Antron.
Mr. Burton?
Yes.
So, have y'all responded to fires due to space heaters already?
Several. We've responded to several.
And is that the common cause at this time? I mean, when it's cold?
Typically when it's cold, especially at temperatures during this time, you have an influx in usage of the space heaters, and space heaters are usually used in older homes that don't have central air heat. And because we're in Houston, in our region, it's hot most of the time, so they're not being used. If they're not being used, they're probably not being maintained properly, so that just creates an issue of hazard, because you have buildup, composite buildup, you have the frayed cords, just things that happen when it's not maintenance properly. So yeah, it is a cause during this time when the temperatures drop.
And that means it's usually plugged in year round, and they just think, well, just pull it out into the...
Exactly. And if you're using gas, it stays in plugged in year round, but you're not maintaining it because you're not using it. So you have dust buildup, other things that can pile in it. And if it hadn't been used for a while, the cords fray or crack, and you leave yourself with a situation where you can have a gas leak or carbon monoxide poisoning.
So that's not the way, it's not, you're not supposed to keep it plugged in year round if you're not going to use it.
Well, keeping it plugged in is necessarily not the danger, it's the maintaining of it. So if it's going to be plugged in, it has to be maintenance or cleaned out, or make sure that the cords are looked at and maintained. If it's properly maintained and maintenance, that's not a problem.
Okay, and then, excuse me, just
No
trying
problem.
to get certain, if you don't have a space heater, the next fire hazard might be a plug-in, or?
Yeah, if you don't have a space heater, absolutely. The plug-in, what I alluded to earlier is that you have two types of space heaters. You have the one that is gas, and then you have the electrical one. The one that we actually recommend that you use is the electrical one, because it has an automatic shut-off, to where if it's tipped over, that it automatically shuts off and the fire hazard is eliminated. With the gas heaters, there's no automatic shut-off. So if it's tipped over, you still have an open flame, and if it's anywhere near, within 3 feet of anything combustible, you have a potential fire. So our recommendation is absolutely to use the electrical space heaters and get away from the gas. But if you're gonna have the gas space heaters, we most definitely ask you to maintain them, make sure they're clean, make sure that the cords aren't frayed or cracked, and make sure your couplings on the end of the cords are a good fit. And make sure you evaluate the flame, which is important. If you have red and blue crackles in the flame, that's kind of indicative of not getting the right, it's not burning correctly, it's not having correct combustion. And when you see that, that absolutely is an indicator of a possible leak. So you want a clear, I guess, solid blue flame and no red and blue.
So the newer models, they'll have features to where if it's close to anything that's combustible, it's going to shut off, or?
I don't know about those models.
Oh, okay.
No, if it's, you typically want to use the rule within a 3-foot radius of the space heater. I don't think there's an automatic shut off for anything close to it. The automatic shut off is if it's tipped over. It has a sensor inside to shut it off. But you want to maintain that 3-foot radius around anything combustible. So the space heaters, especially anything combustible, curtains, plants, of course, Christmas trees or anything like that. So you want to keep that distance.
And then we could tell our listeners and viewers that we're blue in the face, but I mean, you have to have some sort of responsibility as a homeowner as well too, right? Can you just tell us that?
Absolutely. I mean, it's your home. You want to take all the necessary precautions to maintain and keep your home, and possibly it's an issue of home safety and life safety. So when you maintain your smoke, not your smoke alarm, but your space heaters, you're actually taking steps to protect your home and your life, and that's what we're in the business of, protecting property and life. So we absolutely want the homeowners to take responsibility in maintaining those things to stay safe.
And you say all it takes is 30 seconds?
30 seconds for a dried out Christmas tree. If it's truly dried out, like the one we have outside, as soon as a flame hits it, it's up and going. So anything around it in that radius is probably going to get catch fire too. And you guys will see how quickly a fire starting like that with a dried out Christmas tree can get out of hand.
And it's not so much the fire; it's the smoke inhalation that would overtake you.
Well, in most fires, that's what usually overtakes people and causes the death. Is the smoke inhalation. Mm-hmm. Before we go into some fires, and the fire has never touched them, but the smoke inhalation, breathing that smoke, is what usually does it. Which would in turn give us smoke alarms. Almost definitely a must.
This time of year when it's cold and we've got space heaters, we've got heaters and whatnot, is that when we have the incidents of fires that more often than?
During the cold season, absolutely, because you're using those particular things like ovens or space heaters. Our major cause of fires are still kitchen fires. That's the number one cause of most fires we get. But there's usually a spike during the cold season because you have the usage of the space heaters.
And
so
a lot of them can be prevented just by being a little.
Just by being aware and just knowing what to do when to do it.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh, no problem.
Kill that.
No problem at all.